Alright, for those of you watching later, there's nobody in yet. I'm getting set up. With one hand. It's fun. Oh. Nope, it's not fun at all. Go. Hello, person who joined. This is the makeup for Sunday. I apologize that I did not do a live. I got busy and completely forgot until somebody commented on a post, when's the next live, and I thought, well, shit, it's supposed to be today. So, I'm not going to stay on here as long as I normally do, but this is going to be the makeup, so anybody has any questions or anything, shoot. We're over here in the other building today, the other place, not in the shop, like normal. Just got back from the auction. I picked some toys up. That's a lot of garden tractors. No, it isn't. Well, heck, you can only see a few of them. Looks like you can see 6 in the shot. And yeah, that ain't a whole lot. I got several more. You turn over. Hey, hello. Hello. Come on. Let me turn. You look over here, we got several more. Then, if you want to look over here, we got even more. I need to learn how to use this tripod, evidently. How do I turn it? What's this do? Oh, somebody wants something. How many do I have? Oh, let's see here. I have 2 in the other building. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, 28, 29, 30. 30 garden tractors. Then I got 2 snowmobiles. I got that Craftsman lawnmower side-by-side custom doodabby thing, and a bunch of attachments. Well, thanks. Lots of good toys. But I'm still working on selling some. I'd like to get back down around 20, maybe 25. So I've currently got, let's see here, 9 for sale. Well, I sold one today, so 8 for sale. And a few that I would sell, and then a couple that will be sold, just not yet. What's my favorite one? Well, probably this 216. Except my 112 patio over here is quickly coming up in favor. I really like it. This 140 also, but I really like the 216. If only deer had their head out of their ass when they designed the seating arrangement on the 200 series, it'd be the perfect tractor. On the 200 series, the seat is too high for all the further back it'll go. So it either needs to go down or back, neither of which you can do and still have it correct. So you gotta make it custom to do so. Yep, I have a 1968 112 side tag hydraulic lift that I'm currently restoring. It's over at the other place though. So it's not here where we can look at it. It's normally in the lives, but it's not here today. For those of you who were looking forward to Sunday's live, I'm sorry that I missed it. Like I said, I got busy and completely forgot about it till it was too late. Yep, mine will be, I don't know, maybe next year. I'll get it done, we'll see. Oh, and there's the cat. Don't yell at me from over there. This 216 I just finished this year. Y'all already saw that, I'm sure. If you didn't, I recommend going and checking out the videos from it. There's a playlist on the restoration on it. How'd you blow up your 214? You run it out of oil? Or did you redline it too much? They're pretty hard to blow up. Unless it still had the balance gears in it, then that'll ruin your day. Hi. Be quiet, buddy. I have all the 200 series. I have 208, or I have 200, 208, 210, 212, 214, 216. And then I have almost another set. But I'm going to sell the other set. I sold one of them today. I just bought a transmission from John today, Peerless 2300, that he had taken apart. Planned to do a video on putting it back together and fixing it. I'm going to make 1 out of 2. John kind of messed up the case when he broke a bolt off and then cut it out. So I have another hopefully good case, and I'm going to put that together. And my case has several busted gears, bent shafts. It's shot, so hopefully I can get it put together and maybe we'll have a good trans. I've never had one apart before for the Peerless 2300s, so this will be a learning experience. Just take y'all along for the ride. Well, that just wasn't the greatest thing. Why didn't you just get a new air filter? I have a few 110s left. I've got, let's see here. I got a 110 patio and a 110 hydraulic lift. I think those are my current only 110s, and they're both for sale. I am looking to get a couple of 110s. I'm going to get some more specific ones though. And I would be walking around showing you guys more in here, but usually when I do that, it gets blurry for y'all. Can't see, and doesn't work very well. Don't have real good internet out here, so if you wonder why we're just kind of sitting still here on a tripod, that's what I have to do until I get a better internet situation out here. Yeah, I got rid of all my round fenders. I don't really like them very well. I had a 66 hydraulic and a 65. I've had several 64s, had a couple of 67s, but I don't really like them very well, so I got rid of all my round fenders. Well, they were kind of wrong. You shouldn't engine swap it. Just rebuild the engine, and it will last the rest of your life if you don't beat on it and if you're nice to it. And I doubt you blew it up. Actually, you probably just messed up the rings and probably the cylinder wall. So you probably just have to bore it out. A lot of shops will lie to you because they don't want to do an engine swap because they're lazy. I've had that quite a bit. I do all my own. Engine swaps are actually really easy. On these Kohlers, you take 4 bolts out that holds the engine in. You take the clutch linkage apart for the PTO, take the drive belt off, then you unplug the one plug for the wires. Unless you have an electric PTO, then you got to unplug that also, but it's just one wire. You take off choke and throttle cables, and the engine just comes right out. It's really simple. Anybody can do it, really. I mean, any idiot can do it. You just have to have confidence in yourself to be able to try to do it. I used to be about that way. I didn't really want to get into doing stuff like that because I didn't know if I'd be able to figure out how to go back together, but you know, once you start doing it, you realize, hey, this really isn't that bad. It's pretty easy, and then it's just second nature. I've done it to several. Had the engine out and taken it apart, put it together. I did my 140. I did this 216. I did the 317. I'm currently doing the 400. I did a 318. Let's see here. Doing this 140 right now, the engine's out of it. I've had the engines out of several others that are not getting any engine work or anything like that. When I take them out of the twins, normally it's just to do the starter, but on the 317, I had to replace the engine. I just got the exact same thing that was in it out of a parts tractor. I don't repower them or anything dumb like that. I did recently start getting ready for winter. Put the snowplow on the Gravely, and that is actually a video that I did on the channel, so y'all would have seen that if you were watching that. I don't know what all interests everybody, what they all watch. I know everybody doesn't watch everything, but I figured with winter approaching, somebody would want some help getting their blade put on. So I went ahead and did a video because I had to do mine too. I had to put the bracket on as well as putting the snowplow on. So now we're ready to go. The only thing I don't like about the Graveleys with the snowplow is they only come a couple of inches off the ground because they mount in the back and then the whole thing lifts. And Gravely just had their head up their ass when they designed that, but it works. Well, I've actually never snowplowed with a Gravely, so I would imagine it will. I am certainly going to give it the old Ernest P. What's up, Coda? Give her my best shot. If it doesn't work, then oh well. I've got plenty of deers I can plow with. But I've always wanted to try one of these Graveleys out because gear drive with steering brakes and with the rear engine, all your weight is on the back tires. You should have all the traction that you need. So hopefully this thing will push through snow like you wouldn't believe. Yep, I've plowed with 110s, 112s. I plowed with my 216 for several years. I don't think I've ever plowed with a 140 yet, but I will be this year. My 140 is set up for plowing. I'll just put chains on it as it gets colder. If we get snow, I'll throw some chains on it. I haven't done it yet because I use it in the dirt also. And in the mud, chains make it worse rather than better if you start to spin. Until you start to spin, they make it better. But if you start to spin out in the mud with chains, it makes it worse. Yeah, they do a really good job. If you go back on the channel, I actually have videos of plowing with the 216, probably, well, 2 winters ago now, because last year I didn't plow any snow. There wasn't enough to even mess with. But I think the winter before that, I plowed with the 216 at the local shooting range. It's right next door. And, well, it's over a little bit, but technically one of the next places. I guess it's not next door. And, man alive, there was probably, I don't even remember. There was plenty of snow. I had a hard time getting over there. I went through the woods instead of down the road. And the 216 is basically the same tractor as a 110 or 112 with more body panels and a bigger engine. So, and it did amazing. The only thing that I wish I had when I was plowing with it is steering brakes. Yep. That's the one. With one set of weights, a set of chains on it, and my fat ass in the seat, I can plow through pretty much any snow. I've not found any snow that I can't plow through. When it starts to get deeper, if it gets, a couple feet deep like it did the one year, I can push through it, but without steering brakes or a diff lock, if you angle the blade, it just shoves the front end around. And you can only do so much before, because it's a small enough tractor, you can't pile the snow high enough to do anything. So I could make it work if it was an emergency and I needed to, but when it gets that deep, we just break out the big guns. We got a V-plow for the front of the truck, and we got a backhoe and a 3-point blade we can put on the 40-20 or something like that and clear the snow that way. But yeah, when it gets real deep, we just break out the backhoe, and it's 26,000 pounds, and yeah, it just pushes through anything. Until you get it in the mud, then it just sinks down. This goofy cat, I'm telling you what. Well, right now we're talking about snow plowing. There, Blake the collector. I was saying how I set this gravely up, and then somebody, I don't even remember who anymore. My memory is that short. Asked about how a 112, 110, 200 series does in the snow plowing. So we were talking about when I was plowing snow with 216. It plows snow pretty darn good. I'm excited to use the 140. This year is the first time I will have used any hydro to plow, really. I've plowed with 110s, 112s, plowed with 216. Yeah, that cat, he apparently does. The 400 is not doing so good. That's another thing that John Deere had their head right up their butthole when they designed. So the drive shaft is on a hub like 317, if anybody watched engine swapping that. It's supposed to just slide on there, and it's keyed. Well, they also put a roll pin in the one with 400. So you can't get to it. The oil cooler is in the way to get it out. Well, to get the oil cooler out, I've got it unbolted and I got the one line off I can get to, but the other line comes out the bottom. I can't move it to get to it, and I can't get to the line with a wrench. So you can't really get to that to take it apart. So I'm trying to figure the hell out how I'm supposed to get this roll pin out. And then I'm sure the drive shaft will give me a grand time getting it apart. And when it does finally come apart, then I can get the engine out and do everything else. Because everything else is done. It's unbolted, everything's unplugged, unhooked. The engine's ready to be picked out, except for the drive shaft is in the way. It's still connected. And I've been doing other things as well as working on it, and I just have not got it finished yet. I wanted to have it done by now, but still being lazy, still not working on it. Keep getting tired of laying on the cold concrete floor because it's been cold here, or cold enough to make everybody upset anyway. Not cold enough to snow and actually, make some good videos, but cold enough that the floor is cold, you got to wear a coat. It's just not good. I'm hoping this winter I can make some more snow plowing videos, but not looking hopeful. Without tire chains, they're useless. Well, I mean, you can still plow without tire chains, but they're pretty useless. The first time I plowed with my 216, I did not have chains on it. And Christmas morning 3 years ago, we got, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches of snow. No, probably only 6 inches of snow. And I went out and plowed it. And our driveway goes up and down. So we got a hill in it going both ways. And I was able to get it plowed, but it took me a hell of a long time. I couldn't plow going uphill much. I could get a little bit, but it's not heavy enough to get traction on the ice. So when we got snow the next day again, I decided to hell with this, and I just put chains on it. I think it took me like 4 hours to plow on Christmas when I had no chains, and I plowed the next day in like an hour after I put chains on. So they are definitely 100% worth having. They do a lot. I won't plow without chains anymore. If you tell me go plow snow with a garden tractor and it does not have chains on it, I'll tell you to go pound salt. Well, the Farmer's Almanac isn't always right. Every single year for the last few years, we have been told we're going to have a bad winter, there's going to be lots of snow, and we have not. They always claim that, and they're never right. I don't believe a word of it. Otherwise, we would have already had some worse weather. It's literally halfway through January, and we've still had days in the 50s. December, or halfway through December, did I say January? Oops. We should not have warm weather in December. November, we should start getting cold. And where should you get chains for a 112? Well, you can buy them new on eBay, Scamazon. They're fairly pricey. Otherwise, you can find them on Marketplace here and there. Most of the time when I get them, they come with tractors. I've actually never bought just a set of tire chains. So I actually have so many tire chains, I just gave a set to John that was given to me. Been sitting in my truck for a while, and John doesn't use chains, and he has a hellacious time. So I told him, here's a present, put these on, try them out this year. So now he'll be addicted to tire chains, which is good because he'll get things done faster. Usually he can plow the couple of inches of snow off his concrete pad, but if he gets any more than that, he usually can't plow it very well. And he doesn't plow any of his gravel usually with the tractors. With his garden tractors, he uses the skid steer and snow plow. So this should change everything. He ought to really be able to do some plowing now with some chains. I just get them wherever I can. But if you do buy a new set, I would go with ice chains. And I'll show you what that means here real fast. So this is a normal tire chain. It's just links. These are ice chains. You see, it's a link with a piece of steel welded in it. These do a hell of a lot better. I love those things. So if you buy a new set, I would get those. But they will all work. I mean, these chains do really good too, but it's just the ice chains, for me, seem to do way better. These are the normal ones. Most of the ones I have are normal. I think I only have 2 pairs of the ice ones. And I would not get rid of those for anything. I really like those. How are ag tires in the snow? Have a set on a 110. Hope to run it without chains unless you think otherwise. Ag tires in snow without chains, useless. That's what I was running on the 216. And they will go, but they're still hard rubber. They still slip if you get into anything slippery. I just put tire chains on my ag tires. The only reason that this Gravely has turf tires with chains is because it had those turf tires with chains on it when I bought it. I have not changed any tires on this tractor. Didn't put the chains on. So those are the factory original tires from 1967 and probably the factory tire chains also. And I just decided to keep running them. I would rather a bar tire because then if you get into a little bit of mud or something, you can actually get some traction in. The tire can still do its job a little bit. But a lot of people do swear by putting chains on turf tires, and I'm sure that does work a little better. But bars with chains work just fine. I've never had a problem with doing that. As far as ag tires, just normal ag tires in the snow, it depends what ag tire you have. The True Power Carlisles, they seem to do okay, but I've never plowed with a set with or without chains. The Goodyears, I'm not a big fan. If you're going to be plowing snow, I suggest just putting some chains on. You got stock tires, so they're Goodyears. Those things are junk everywhere. I don't like those. If you run them Goodyears for a year and get used to them and then switch to a set of Carlisles, it's like night and day. It's like switching from a set of turf tires to a set of bar tires. Those Goodyears are just helpless. The 1050 ones are better than the 850 ones. The 850 ones are even more worthless than turf tires. But, I mean, still. The 1050s aren't great either. They do better going forward, but they're garbage in reverse. You can't go anywhere in reverse. I saw a guy had his Goodyears on backwards because somebody told him, if you get stuck with them that way, you can back out because you have more traction that way. Well, if you had real tires, you wouldn't have that problem. How's the new 140? It's good. Hasn't run in a minute. But it's still chilling over here. The tires are still shot, and I'm still going to run them. They're squatting an awful lot, but I'm just going to continue to ignore it and run them till they decide otherwise. Also, a quick update on this restoration project. This is the 140 patio. This is all the further along I got this summer. My main focus was the 216, and that's why I didn't get this thing done. I wanted the 216 to be completely done by the end of the year. So this will hopefully be completely done next year. I still gotta do another coat or two of paint and take the tires and rims off, paint the rims, put tires on it, and paint the engine, put it in. I'm going to go through everything on the engine. I'm not going to rebuild the engine because it doesn't smoke. It runs good and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to do anything internal to the engine, but I am going to do, you know, points, coil, condenser. I might not even mess with the coil because it has a good one. But points, condenser, I'll rebuild the carb, you know, just little stuff like that. I'll check through and make sure everything's good. Change the oil in it. I will be putting an hour meter on this tractor. Heard the 317 back when they were made were big flop and lost for deer. Do you know why? Yes, I do. When the 317 came out, they went from a single cylinder Kohler, which was in the 316, to a twin cylinder 17 horse KT17 Kohler, and they tried to use the same design as when they were a single cylinder, so they did not put any oil pump or any oil lubrication system in the engine. And so what would happen is, because guys and girls aren't smart enough to check their oil every time, even in a new tractor, you should check your oil every time you start it, every day, whatever. And they would run low on oil, whether it was lack of maintenance or they just didn't get it full all the way. And then they would, you know, mow the side of their hill or whatever, and the tractor would be leaning for an extended period of time, and one of the piston rods would not get lubricated well enough, and it would just break the rod. It'd shatter the rod like single cylinders do when you run them out of oil. So basically they just blew up half of them because of no oil system. So then after a few years they did put a oil pump in that engine, and that wasn't Deere's fault, it was Kohler's fault they didn't put an oil pump in their engine. But then they put an oil pump in, and people were still scared of the 317s, so they didn't go crazy over them, but then they were better tractors. I personally like the KT17 Series 1 without the oil pump, because having an oil pump and a filter is just another thing that could go wrong, another thing you have to maintenance. And for me, I keep my engines over full on oil, and I'll even prove it. I'll pull the dipstick on this and it'll be over full. It's up to here. I know you can't see that very well. It's up to here, and I think the hash marks are here. So I'm quite a bit over full. I keep all my tractors over full, but especially these KT17s. As long as you keep it at least full, if not over full, and stay the hell off the side of a hill, you're fine. I mean, you can drive across the side of a hill if you just got to go across it for, 30 seconds. But don't be sitting on the side of a hill like a moron with these. As long as you are smart enough to use your own judgment, to keep oil in it and not sit on the side of a hill, these engines are really good engines. They run smooth, they sound good. I really like the sound of them too. And they have a lot of power. They are torquey suckers like you wouldn't believe. I really, really, really like them. I have two of them. I do prefer the single cylinders because they're easier to maintain and work on. But these KT17s have a lot of power, and people are scared of them. They don't like them, so they're very cheap. I paid, I think, $200 a piece for these two tractors. Granted, I did not buy either of them running. This one didn't have weights or tires or anything. I put work into both of them. They were both rough. This one I bought, and the engine in it was junk. I mean, it was worn out. Had to put a new engine in it. Had to put these tires on it. The front tires were junk. Didn't come with wheel weights. And the other one, I bought that way. The PTO was junk for the tiller, and it's worn out. It's seen its fair share of work, and it's still not back into running condition yet. But I mean, they're super cheap, and I did get really good deals on both of these. But at the same time, people don't like to buy them non-running because those engines do blow up, and I have had one or two that I bought that were blown up. So you just got to be careful when you buy them. If they're non-running, check compression on both cylinders. And yeah, I mean, just be careful. I really like them as long as you're keeping oil in them and staying off hills, they're fine. But a lot of people didn't know that. And I mean, back in the day when they were new, nobody knew that because Kohler had just come out and started making that engine that way. And Deere used it, and that happened. So that's why they were a flop. How many 214s do I have? I have two of them right now. I have one for sale and one I'm keeping. What is my opinion on the heavy-duty air filter for the 140? They're really hard to find. Yes, they are. And very, very expensive when you find one. I personally do not have any heavy-duty air filters. I wouldn't mind having one. They're cool. It's just another feature you can buy. But at the same time, if you're in heavy dust, just service your air cleaner more often. You don't really need one of those. Is it nicer? Yes. Is it called for? Not really. I mean, if you're doing nothing but dusty work every single day that you run the tractor, that's all you're doing, you're always in the dust, then yeah, it's something that you can justify buying. But I mean, you don't really need one. I've never had one, and I've never had a problem. You just got to keep an eye on your air filter and keep it clean. And I mean, those, they still get dirty. It's not like they're made to not ever get dirty or anything. But those heavy duty air filters, I mean, for what they cost, they're not really worth it to me. I would like to find one eventually, but here's to hoping, I guess. I'll eventually buy one. Or get one on a tractor, that'd be even nicer. So I've had people before ask me about their Cubs or other brands of tractors or whatever questions, and I'm just going to put this out here. You can do with it what you will, but not a big fan of the Cubs. They're not really a great tractor. What's the most overrated Deere? The 318. Big piece of junk if you ask me. Everybody loves them though. I hate those things. But I don't hate on other people too much. I'll give people a hard time and joke with them, sure, but the John Deere, I mean, it is the best quality garden tractor you can get. It's the best quality farm tractor also. And I mean, the Cubs, they're okay. I talked to a Cub collector though over the summer, and he said he used to be diehard Cub until a friend of his let him drive his John Deere 212. He said to him, being a diehard Cub guy, he said, putting the John Deere and the Cub side by side, he said, the Cub looks home built. It's just chintzy. They're not real great quality compared to the Deere, which I agree. That's what I've found. And I've had Cubs, and I don't really like them. And I mean, and I like the Graveleys. I have 5 of them now. But they're nowhere near as good a quality as the Deere. And I mean, nobody makes as good of a tractor as John Deere does. The John Deere is just the best quality you can get. The Graveleys are pretty good, but they're not as good as a Deere. The Cubs, they're not bad. Their rear ends are kind of not so good. I've seen several people break that giant bull gear and differential that they use in some of them older Cubs, I've seen lots of people break them with 12-horse coilers. I don't know what the heck they are doing with them, but they just break them like that. And the metal used to make cubs is not as good of a metal as deer. That is a fact. Cub cheaped out on their metal and didn't build their tractors as good. Simplicities, I haven't had a ton of experience with them, but the experience that I've had, they seem like pretty good tractors. They're up there. I haven't really run them much, but they seem to be pretty heavy-duty tractors. I do wish they had used Kohlers instead of Briggs, but that's just my preference. Some people like Briggs better. I just found a 318 I'm going to get for scrap price. No idea how the motor or hydraulics are, but the body's great. Egg tires have lots of tread left. Lots of YouTube on reviewing one the right way. Oof. Well, I won't buy another 318. I like the power steering. I like the size of it with power steering and everything. But the Onan engines are absolutely garbage. If I did get another 318, it would be one that was repowered with a Kohler, or I would repower it with a Kohler. The Onans are just garbage. There's a few people that like them, but not many. How hard is it to find a slab weight bracket like what's on the 120? Very hard. They're very, very, very expensive. The slab weights lately have been $300 or $400 a piece when people are advertising them, and the brackets are $100 to $150. The brackets are a little easier to find, but the weights are they're pretty hard to find. I've only gotten one so far, and I was lucky. I got a really, really good deal on it, and I didn't even have to haggle the guy. I saw it in the background of a picture on something, asked him about it, and he told me I could have it for 25 bucks. So I went immediately and got it. So I only have the one. I'm not paying 400 bucks a slab for them. So if I find them for, 100, 150 bucks a slab, I'll buy some, but they're nice. But for that amount of money, I'll just build a weight bracket and run suitcase weights, or put actual wheel weights, just bolt them on the front. The crap they build now says, yeah, I agree. Garden Tractor Collector UK, how you doing? It's evening for you. It's 3:02 p.m. here. It's afternoon, so good afternoon, good evening. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. What's wrong with the Onan? They are just not built well. They're junk. Instead of using an electronic ignition, they have some goofy hooked together version of a magneto and electronic ignition. They're not reliable. The engines are not built as good as the Kohlers. The fuel systems, they're all right. I don't really have problems with those. The Onans do get, and a lot of people have probably heard of it, but the dreaded Onan surge, the manifold does not seal very well on those things. They had their head up their ass when they designed putting the carburetor on. You have to take the manifold off to take the carburetor off, at least on the one I had anyway, on the CCKA 16.5 horse, I think it was. They're not good engines. If you get one that is running right, people seem to like them, but I do not want anything to do with them. I don't like them. IDK, if I got or get anything John Deere, all in the way. All the way. Okay. Brain's playing tricks on my peepers here. Yeah, John Deere's definitely the best out there. There are some competitors. Cub thinks they're a competitor, but they're so far behind. They're like Kia behind Ford. So, I mean, there is obviously brands out there that would make a Cub Cadet look good. If you went from say, an MTD or a Craftsman garden tractor and bought a Cub, yeah, it's going to look like a really good tractor because it is compared to that. MTD, junk, garbage, Toro, garbage, Craftsman, they're about the best of the garbage. And there's just so many brands of junk out there. So I stick with the best. I stick with what I know. And that's why I like the old stuff, because it's super simple to work on, it's made to last, and it's reliable. Gotta love the own and surge. Heard a lot about that when I told a huge deer collector I wanted a 318 back before I knew. Yep, I always wanted a 318, mainly to resell. Several years ago I was buying and selling a lot. I'm not anymore. But several years ago, that's what I was doing a lot of. And the 318s were always expensive. So I figured if I could get one cheap and flip it, I could make some decent money. They seem to sell quick. And then I got two 318s. Thought I got them cheap. I overpaid for them, but I ended up getting the one running. Didn't mess with the other one. And man alive. It took me forever to sell those dumb things. Couldn't get, I think I listed both of them for $1,500. The one ran and drove, had good tires on it. You know, everything worked. Nobody wanted those dumb things. And I didn't either. I'll never buy another one. People ask me if I want a 318 occasionally. And I tell them, the only way I'd take a 318 is if it's free and you bring it to me. I would never buy another one of those things. Just started to collect deer a few years ago, and I'm happy. My $300 plus, or 20-year-old plus, good night, nerves, come back, comment, old 180 has outlived 3 of my neighbor's new Cubs and Troy Belts. Yes, and they will, and that's not even one of the real great quality, like high-dollar garden tractor ones. That's just a lawn tractor. You get a heavier duty one and man, they're amazing. Don't suppose you might know why my Kohler won't start. Got spark, come back here, comment, hey, come back here. And compression, has fuel, even with crap, clean it to fire. Come back here. I think it might be the timing. Did you have it running before, or did you buy it and you're trying to get it running? Yeah, the Toros are garbage. John Deere best tractors money can buy, really. This is true. The only other brands I would like, or that I would buy, are, I like the Gravely's. They're more comfortable than the Deeres, I'll give them that. They are way more operator friendly than the Deeres, but they're also not as good a quality. They're a pain in the ass to get on and off of, though, for a fat ass, I guess. And I mean, I don't mind the simplicities. I don't feel the need to have one. I wouldn't mind having an older Cub gear drive, but I talked to Cub guys and they said that they're not any better with the real clutch that's in them is not any better than a John Deere gear drive that is belt driven. They said the clutch is worse in those, so I mean, I don't really know. I don't really feel the need to have one anymore. Does it tick you off when someone calls garden tractor lawnmower? Yes, it does. I always call them out on it. And if they say, how many lawnmowers do you have? I'll tell them, well, 0. Well, what? What do you mean? Well, 0 lawnmowers. I got 30 garden tractors, though. So it had been sitting for over 20 years. Had it running, then just wouldn't start. If it just wouldn't start, you probably need to clean the carburetor out. More than likely, it got gummed up with gas left in it. If it has spark, and it was running before, the timing's obviously not off far enough for it not to run, unless you've had the engine apart or something. Most of the time, when something's run before, and it still has spark, but it won't start, it either has old gas in it that just needs fresh gas, or it has had old gas long enough that the carb is gummed up. I don't know about over there in the UK, but here, our gas has a boatload of ethanol. And it gums up the carburetors faster than you can count to 3. So that's a big problem over here. I don't know if it is over there also. Well, Blake the collector, he said it has spark, so you shouldn't need to clean the points. If it already has spark, it's a fuel issue. But if it doesn't actually have spark anymore, then Blake is right, you can clean the points. But if you've checked it and it does actually still have spark, you're going to want to check your carburetor. What I usually do is just hit it with a squirt of ether and see if it pops, fires, bangs, clanks, clunks, whatever. And if it does, you got good spark. Blake collector, my bad, I can't read the best. Yeah, don't worry, me too. I get ahead of myself and then get tripped up and skip over things and add things in. And ever since our friendly neighborhood president and his fake Biden virus, I can't remember nothing, can't talk, have a Biden moment every 5 seconds. Great. Well, this is definitely longer than I planned on staying on here. I got more people today than when I do when I have the live on Sunday. I got 9 people right now. Thank you for everybody who's currently watching, by the way. May I ask, how in the world you afford these tractors? I'd love to have your collection. Blake the collector. Well, I started out when I was, I don't know, probably 12, 14, something like that. Sold some of my toys that I had when I was a kid, and I bought a 112. Then I sold the 112, and I found a cheaper tractor, and I bought it and had some money left over, so I bought another one. And then I sold one of those, and did the same process over and over and over. And I had been keeping, 2, 3 tractors around to have and keep, and 3, 4 tractors that I could sell. And then the Biden virus hit, and everything was dirt cheap because everybody was too scared to drive and get anything. So I was buying tractors left and right for $100. And then it shows, I meet people, and you talk to people, and you'll find out, hey, they have this tractor they want rid of, or hey, they have that tractor, or they know of this one, or they want that one. And you just buy and sell and trade and barter and deal. And it's taken me quite a few years to get to the amount of tractors I have. I started, oh crap, I don't even know how many years ago. And it's taken a while. I'm getting back down now. I was at 45 last year. And you just buy and sell enough and trade and barter. Like them 2 318s I traded for like 13 tractors that didn't run. And another way that I have so many nice things is because I buy them non-running and get them running. So I'll go out and I'll pay, a few $100 for a tractor and get it running and have a $800,000 tractor and only have $500 in it. So it pays to be able to know what you're doing. And you find people over the years that give you a good deal if you buy a boatload of them or whatnot. But yeah, I don't have anything that I haven't worked on or worked for, really. Pretty much everything that I bought non-running. I did buy this 140 running. I bought this Gravely and that Gravely running. And I bought, I bought 214, 212, 200, and 208 running. That's the only tractors. Well, I also bought the 400 running. So those are the only tractors I own that I bought that ran. Everything else I bought got running, like this 112 patio right here you're kind of half looking at. Not only did it not run when I bought it, the transmission in it was junk. I mean, it's shot, teeth missing, shafts bent, things messed up. I mean, it was junk. You just got to start getting in. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. I'm sure I've missed several comments, so apologize for that. Carb's been cleaned. It still has spark, but everything with petrol down the plug hole, it won't fire. Quite confused at this point. Well, if it has spark to the plug, check your spark plug. Sometimes those will foul. Just put a new plug in it. I stumbled on you, glad I did. Yep, thanks for watching there, Marvin. I appreciate everybody who watches and everybody who enjoys. I am glad that I am making content that everybody can enjoy and have a good time watching. Try and keep it family friendly, but you know, sometimes, you know, things happen. I'd like to sell my 116. Do you think I could get 400 out of it here in central Ohio? 116. If it runs and drives and has a deck, I'd say you should have no problem getting $400 for it. Not for me, I don't want it, but I only buy garden tractors. I don't want any lawn tractors. I don't really mow with any of mine. If I can ask, how come you have so much? Well, because it was an addiction, I wanted a few, and then during the China virus, when they were so cheap, I thought, well, I've already got several, you know. I want the whole 200 series set. And so I got the whole set together. I'm like, hey, this is pretty neat. And then I decided I want one of each model that Deere made. You know, one of each of the patio. Well, originally I wanted 4 of each model patio. That way I could have, you know, a 110 in yellow, blue, orange, and red, and all the others as well. So I was going to have way too many tractors. And I eventually gave up on that. Now I want to keep a set of 4 patios, a set of 4 green 100 series, probably an extra 140 or 2. I want to keep my whole 200 series set, a couple of 317s, the 400, and then some Graveleys. I'm working on selling and getting back down, but I have so many because for so long they were so cheap. And with Trump, fuel, I mean, I could fill my truck up from empty for $100. Now with Biden, if I'm down at 3/4, it's $100. Thanks, Joe in the Hoe. So I used to be able to go all over the place fairly cheap and pick these things up. So I was just going all over. I was going every weekend for months at a time. I'd go every single weekend or every week and go and pick tractors up because they're cheap and nobody can sell them. So I was just happy I could get this many tractors. And so another way that I had so many was I was just buying them non-running and then just letting them sit and only getting some of them running. I'm to the point now that I'm starting to sell some of the ones that I'm not going to mess with, and I'm trying to get them all running so I can start any of them that I have. I can get on it, start it, drive it around. I am far from that, but I am getting there. I've got, I don't know if I can start half my tractors right now, really. Let's see here. The 200 and 208 ran when I bought them. The 208 probably hasn't run for 3 months. 200 hasn't run in over a year. 210 hasn't run in 2 or 3 years, at least. I bought it, got it running, used it for a while, but the engine was shot. 212 hasn't run in over a year. Engine shot in it also. Hey, I'll point the camera over here where I'm talking about. 212, like I said, engine shot in it. It's getting restored this coming spring. 214 I use every year. It's my tilling tractor. 216 I can start. 317. The first one I can't start right now. I need to rewire it. I'm losing spark intermittently. So, I mean, it might start right now if I walked over there, but it also might not. I don't even know if it has a battery in it right now. I need to take it over, rewire it, and go through a few things on it. The other 317, I am just not getting fuel to the carburetor. The pump is not pulling it from the tank. Otherwise, I'd be able to start it in theory. It ran the last time I tried to drive it around. I did try and drive it over here when we built the building. It wouldn't start, or it wouldn't turn over, so I drained the gas. That I haven't touched. Can't start it. I can start the Craftsman in the corner, but it won't move. Transmission's shot. These two obviously won't start. The Gravely up there at the end, the 812, probably won't start anymore. There was nothing wrong mechanically with the engine when it was parked. I just parked it because an axle came apart in the differential. 110 I can start, the 210 I can start, this Gravely I can start, this Gravely I can start. A year ago I would have been able to start this 120, but I took the engine out of it for the 140 patio project, and that's an engine out of a parts tractor that's sitting there. That I can start and run, this I can start and run, this I can start and run. The 120, I don't think it'd start. I don't know. It might, but I don't know. This I can start and run, this I can't, this I can. So I guess I probably can start half my tractors how we are right now. And I know I've missed several comments. I am going to get caught up right now. Tried three different plugs now, wasn't running the best. And the only thing I haven't checked is the timing. If it was running before and you didn't take the engine apart, it can't really be the timing. If you spray some ether in through the carb, what'll it do? Why not have a few when you could have the whole set? Exactly, that's true, Blake. And now you're deleting comments. I see how it is. I could definitely agree with that. Later, y'all be safe. See you later, Marvin. You're probably already gone, but see y'all. Oh, well, it just came in, so. Let's see here. What other orders of business do we have? Baloney. Don't know. So I have this Gravely 432 here. Not sure if it's sold. I have a guy who says he wants it. Says he's going to buy it after Christmas. We'll see. If it doesn't sell, still torn between just continuing to try to sell it and fixing it. Taking a pause here, I got a comment. Are you still set on getting the whole patio set? I'm getting 4 patios now. I technically have the whole patio set, but now I want to get real picky. I have 1970, 112H, 120, and 140H3. My 110 is a 71 manual lift. I'd like to get it sold and get a 1970 hydraulic lift to match the same year and everything. So if somebody had a 70 hydraulic lift 110 patio, I would trade it for the 71 110. Also, when's the next video coming out? Not sure. The only video that I'm really currently working on is the 400, and I still need to get the engine out of it, take the starter off, take it to the shop, have it rebuilt. When I get it back a week later, put it back on, put the engine in, and then that video will come out. So it's going to be at least 2 weeks, I'm going to say, for that video. In the meantime, it just depends what I have to do. I've been working on doing some other things currently also for a different channel that I have. So, I mean, there's just not a lot to do right now. I don't have space to bring another project over to the shop to work on because the 400's in there taking up all the room. There's obviously no snow to plow. We already plowed the garden. It's still too wet to try and drag any logs or do anything like that. It's been raining. on and off for last 2 weeks. I think, well, according to the weather, Sunday we got over an inch of rain. So, Mike Starcher Gaming Channel, that'd be funny. Would it now? Also, oh, I already read that. Okay. Well, you know, I don't really game. I do try, but I'm not good at it. So, I mean, that one would definitely be rated R. You'd hear, holy fucking shit, this piece of garbage, every 4 seconds, because I don't get along with technology very well. But I've been thinking about it. People keep telling me that I should start a gaming channel, because I mean, I do. I'll play, you know, some farming sim or some Minecraft, but I don't really play a lot of video games. So, yeah, what? I'd love to see that. All right, well, we'll see where that takes us then. Maybe I can get that started. I have a channel that I created for gaming, but it has 2 subscribers, one of which is my main account so as I can find it, and I think I have like 3 videos on it. I don't really use it. I've had it for several years, but I don't post anything on it because I don't game. So, and nobody wants to watch me game either because I'm bad at gaming. It would be brilliant. You should go for it. Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence from everybody. I guess I can get something going on it. I'm trying to figure out. I just got a computer, so I'd like to start doing something like that. I'm trying to figure out how the heck I record on the computer. I've got 2 screen recorders I'm trying. One of them will let me record for a minute at a time, and the other one I can't get to work. So like I said, I'm not tech friendly. I do not have any idea what I'm doing, but I'm trying to figure it out. I've played on Xbox for years. We didn't have video games until, I don't even know when. Till probably high school. So I have not got a lot of practice, and I don't like to sit around and play video games for very long. That's another thing. I could do stuff like that, but I don't want to sit there all day and play video games like, you know, gaming channel people do. I'll sit there for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'll get bored and I'll have to go do a different game or go outside and do something. So I'm just not, I don't have the attention span to work on one thing constantly. That's one reason that I don't do lives and work on things in the live, because my attention span just jumps from project to project. My ADHD, or whatever the hell they want to call it today. Start working on this tractor. No, I'm bored of that. Let's go work on something else. So that's why videos take so long to make to start with, because I'll start working on something and I'll get partway done and then I'll go work on something else for a while, and then I might come back to it for a little bit, but I don't just continue to do one thing. You know, you watch some of these gaming channels, and they'll be playing, for the sake of argument, Minecraft. They'll play freaking Minecraft for hours and hours and hours. What the heck? I can't do that. What do you use to edit your videos? A video editor, believe it or not. I just use whatever free editor I can find. I've been editing for years on my phone now. So now that I have a computer, maybe I'll be able to edit on the computer. But yeah, I'm still not tech savvy. I need to figure out how to get my recorders to work. I was trying to do a recording the other day. I'm really excited now that I have a PC instead of an Xbox. On Farming Sim, I can get 2-cylinder mods and all kinds of other good stuffs. So now I have, before I had just an A. That's the only mod that we had on Xbox for a 2-cylinder. Now I have A, B, granted the B is junk, doesn't have volume. But I have A, B, I have 520, 620, 720, 720 diesel. I have 530, 630, 730, 730 diesel. Then I have 2510, 2520, 3010, 3020, 4000, 4010, 4020, 4320, 5020, 6030. I got 4030, 4230, 4430. I got a bunch of 30 series and 40 series and 50 series and 55 series and all kinds of good stuff. It's more fun to play now, but still not figuring it out. How do you like the big platform on the Graveleys? Oh, I love it. Way more space for fat asses, such as myself. I think you may like the mods on Farm Sim. Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of exciting having something that you can, actually use. Except for the 620 single front that I bought. It doesn't get along with my field. If I go a certain direction in the field, it just glitches and jumps and flops around like a fish out of water. So that's healthy and handy. But I can do a gaming channel. If I can figure out how to screen record. But yeah, I just tinker around. Video games are only when the weather's real miserable and I ain't got nothing more to do. And I'm not out in the shop till midnight. I don't like on regular Farming Sim. They all have new tractors, rather use old ones. Yes, very true. Farming Sim with new tractors is the most boring game you've ever played in your whole ass life. I will not play Farming Sim without old stuff. I don't use any new stuff at all. I love to use anything as old as I can. And I just play it for fun. I don't, get serious about it. I just play. How many all-nighters have you pulled in my shop? Too many. I usually don't stay out there past midnight or so, but I have been out there a lot later than that. We'll just put it that way. So, I guess since I got, now 3 people's here. We had 10, all of a sudden it just jumped down to 3. So, now that I got 3 people's ears, the first restoration project for next summer is 100% going to be this 212 because I want to use it to put the bucket on and use next year. After that, I'm going to do either the 120 patio or the green 120. So I'll try and give y'all the option on which one I should do after the 212. Something like that. I'll just have to put a poll up for which one. I'll probably do it next year because I don't want to get everybody's hopes up. Do the 120 patio. Okay. Well, we'll see what people vote. I actually currently have the hood for the 120 in the house. I fixed it. Had some cracks and breaks in it, and it's a pain in the ass, but it's kind of easy. So I'm going to start fixing hoods, and once I get good, I think I'm going to start doing it for other people, because, I see so many tractors with broken hoods, and it costs so much to get a normal body shop to fix a hood. If I can do them for 50 or 100 bucks a pop or something, fix them and make them perfect again, people would love that, I think. Do whichever one you fancy. I'll enjoy it either way. Yeah, I guess you're going to end up seeing both of them eventually anyway, but people just like it better if they can choose, I guess, sometimes. And that helps me decide also, because I don't know which the heck one I want to do first. But before I get to either of those, I'm not sure if that'll be this coming summer or the next summer, because I want to do the 212. Am I pointing at the right one? I am now. I want to do the 212, finish this one to 140, and finish the 112 that's over there. I'd be your first customer. My 110 has a cracked hood, and it bothers me. Yeah. I'll post some pictures of the hood that I fixed. Now, it wasn't bad. I mean, it had several cracks, some chunks missing out of it. And I do need to find some better paint. But, I mean, it turned out pretty good. I'm waiting for some sandpaper so I can sand it by hand now. Get it smooth as glass and put another coat of primer on it in the spring when it warms up, and then I will start painting it whenever I'm ready to do the tractor. But it was a lot easier than I figured. I'm not as worried about the underside because, well, on that hood, somebody had already fixed it and they messed it up. They got chunks of stuff all over the place, and I'm not going to sand their chunks of stuff off because I'm worried then the hood will fall apart. So it looks good from the outside, but if I have a hood that nobody's butchered before, I'm sure I could make it look good on the inside and outside. But yeah, I mean, it just depends how bad your hood is. John has one, and I mean, it's bad. Over here, this whole chunk is ripped off. He has most of it. This section he doesn't have. Then there's a giant section right here that he doesn't have. So it needs a lot of filler, and the stuff I use is not cheap. So I'm thinking about how bad of a hood it can be before I'll say, nope, just give up. Because, I mean, you can only fill so much. Do they still make paint for the colors of the patio tractors? No, they don't. You just have to guess on the white. I've not found anywhere that makes an exact color. I called a place here in town that makes paint colors for rattle cans. They do it in rattle cans. They mix it. I paint with rattle cans because it's easier. I inquired about a can, and I think the normal cans are 16 ounces if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. That might not be right even. Anyway, they had a smaller can by several ounces that they made, and their cans were like $30 a piece. I thought, holy crap, I'm going to need probably a case and a half or 2 cases to paint a whole tractor. And no, I ain't paying that for it. So I just went to Old Wally World with an original patio piece and matched to the best of my ability, and it looks like crap. It's not nearly as dark as the cap was. This is the color I want, but not yellowing. When I bought the can of paint, I brought it over here and tested it. This was my test track. And this looks good. This looks like the right color. Looks like what I want. It's dirty now. But it looks good. It came out nice, shiny. I don't know why the other cans aren't doing that. But they're way whiter. So what the deal is, I don't freaking know. But I bought enough to do several tractors, so I'm just going to have to figure it out, I guess. That's why I would rather not paint a patio. Like this 112 here, somebody already painted it. Oh, good, it's staying like that. I'm not going to paint it. But 120 needs painted. 140, it really needs painted too. I mean, it wasn't green like the 120, but it wasn't good either. So I'll paint it, make it look nice, presentable, pretty, all that happy stuffs, and keep moving. But yeah, in the future, if anybody has a hood that needs fixed, I'd like to start getting into it. Maybe that'd be a way to make a little bit more money too, to put toward these things, because I am not making much on YouTube at all. I'm hardly making anything. The 140 beside the camera that has the bull bar looking thing, I think flips down, you can put wood in it. Yep, that's a Brindley garden cart. I know all about them. They're pretty rare. Which the heck side? Well, I could just leave that on there. What? Does that. They're pretty nice to have. I've never really used this one much, but it's neat. This one, story was they put it on the tractor, the dealer did, because the lady, or the guy's wife, sometimes would mow and she'd run into things. So they put that on so she wouldn't run into stuff with the front of the tractor. I'm just using it as a front bumper like them right now, and a storage for that chain, evidently. Do you think you could put several logs on it? Well, depends how big they are. I wouldn't want to put much weight on it because it's kind of flimsy, especially on the bracket that it's on. The current bracket that it's on is not the right one. We think that that is a Cub Cadet or something like that. Brindley garden cart for a cub, so it's not correct for a deer, and they just stuck it on there. But I mean, it seems to work. I mean, take it to a show or something, it's going to be nice. I just think it's neat to have. It came on a tractor, which is why I wanted it. Wanted the tractor. I've had a ton of people ask if I'd sell it, but the answer is no. As far as putting weight in it, I don't think I'd want to. And if you bought one, I don't think you should either. I mean, you know, put a little bit in it here and there. I'm off. Thanks for the help, Mike. Yep, see you later. Have a good one. Be safe. I don't think I'd really want to put much weight in it either. They're kind of rare. They're really expensive. And for as much as it costs, I would rather just use a cart. You can buy an 80 cart for the same price you can buy one of these, or less. And I mean, an 80 cart is just way better for doing that. I don't like all the weight on the front of the tractor either. So could I see the front headlights of the 140 behind your restored patio? Of the 140 behind my restored patio. So this one over here. You know, the heck with this. I'm taking y'all off the stand. Here, instead of carrying the stand. Probably getting pretty laggy for y'all. Sorry about that. That's what they look like. They're kind of busted up. This is a definite barn find tractor. How much do I have into it? I don't even know. I'd have to check my receiptage. I have plenty into it. I think I give like $500 for it or something. I don't remember though. Like I said, I'd have to check. I still haven't touched it, as you see. I've moved it again. And that one's the 73 140, by the way, also. I've moved it again because I put the 216 over here and it was sitting in its spot. I think I've moved it like 3 times since I've owned it. I brought it in here, then moved it over once, So the 317 was in the right place, and then I pushed it over there. Well, I picked up the back and wheeled it over there. I don't push it around. The front tires, they look, come back here. Front tires look like they match. They don't, I don't believe. Nope, they are not matching front tires. They are not the right size either. They're 18s, I think, instead of 16s. So, to be correct, you'd put different tires on it. As long as you don't put bar tires on the front, then we're good. I hate people that do that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. So we have been at this for an hour and a half. So, well, in 5 minutes, an hour and a half. So I'm going to start trying to get this wrapped up here pretty soon. They serve no purpose on the front. The tires? What do you mean they serve no purpose? Yes, the tires serve a purpose. What do you think, the front end levitates? Sure, that's not what you meant, but that's how my brain saw it. Oh, bar tires. Yes, I agree. Sorry about that. My brain was not remembering what we were talking about completely. Yeah, bar tires are dumb. They look stupid. People bitch and moan about bar tires tearing up their yard. Then they put bars on the front. Well, yeah. Deere was far ahead in their time. Yep. When people ask me what tires they should run, well, sheesh. Right here. These are the only sets of tires that I would buy. 3 ribs, 5 ribs. Best tires that you can put on the front. The other option that I kind of don't mind the look of are these like multi-rib doodab things. They're basically a wagon wheel. They look okay if you're going for a decent look with a cheaper price, but they are garbage at steering. Holy moly, you might as well have drag slicks on the front. I had this thing out in the snow. I could not decide, or the tractor could not decide where it wanted to go. It was going whichever way was easiest, no matter which way I directed it. So, yeah, I got lots of sets of 5 ribs. I got 3 sets of 3 ribs. I need to get more, but they're currently out of stock. So, if anybody knows where I can get a set of used 16-658 3 ribs, I'm down. It has too many options to look at. Yes, apparently it does. Those do not like the snow whatsoever. That's why it went all over the place, yeah. I don't like turf tires, but yeah, I run those on a lot of my stuff because these tires are getting pretty dang expensive. So these 2 tires are what I like to run on everything. If I buy new tires for a garden tractor on the front, it's these or these. So right now you can't get the 3 ribs, but when you could, they were almost $100 a tire. They were like 95 and change per tire, plus tax and shipping. And I was only able to find one place that I could get them. And these 5 ribs used to be $120 a set, plus shipping and, tax and all that crap. But holy kamikas, they're almost $200 a set now. They're, I think, $170, $180 a set. And they're getting harder to find too. But the last time I found them for $120 a set, I bought 2 sets. So I have 2 brand new sets in the house. I need to buy some more True Powers. I have no more 3 ribs. I am completely out of 3 ribs. I don't really need more bar tires. I don't need any more 850s. I got several sets of 850 Carlisles. I got a set of 850 Goodyear, or not Goodyear's, Firestones. Not a fan of those, but I'm going to put them on that patio. I got a couple sets of these Titans. They're okay. Not really a big fan of those. I'll put them on something I'm not going to use a whole lot or sell them. I think I have 1 or 2 sets of these super lugs left. I got a set of the high run super lugs in the house from TSC. Let's see here. And I think I have a set of 850 True Powers in there. I need some 1050 True Powers. I only have 1 set, so I need to get me some more sets of those. And when I can find them, I need to get some more sets of 3 ribs. But otherwise, I'm good on tires. I saw somebody commented, let me check. Why does the 110 Blue Patio have a hitch on the front? I want to get all 4 ags. No, don't put ags on the front. That's dumb. We were just talking about that. No ag tires on the front. That's the stupidest thing you can do. Just put 5 ribs or 3 ribs on. No ags. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't make yourself look stupid. Don't do that. Okay? Just don't. This has a front hitch because it's easier to maneuver pushing things. I have front hitch because, and I know it's really laggy right now, I apologize, I'm walking. I have a push bar, so I can go from front to back, or back to front, or whatever, and push tractors around. I'm not limited to pulling only. So I use this. I can push a tractor onto a trailer, or whatever. I use that push bar to push the 400 around into the barn. Really, really nice to have. It's something that we've done with farm tractors for a long time. And so I did that with a garden tractor. An old friend made this, Shane. He's passed away now for a little over a year. So I use this. I do need to make some more. This was just a prototype. He was going to make me 3 or 4 of them and never got around to it. It works good. So I can, push another tractor with that push bar with this, or like moving around the hay rake or something. I can just hook that to the front hitch, and I have way more maneuverability to get places. It's way easier to control the implement that you're hooked to, because instead of turning the wheels and having to wait for the back to start moving over, you turn the wheels and it's instantaneous to move around. It's way, way, way nicer. Also, I have put a ball hitch in this and moved trailers around. You can, see what you're doing in front of you, not looking behind you all the time. Pretty nice. I'm definitely going to get some more made, but it just has not gotten there yet. So I have the one. I use it. Not a ton, but I do use it. The one flaw in this one that he built for me is when he built it, he measured it on his 112. Or maybe it was a 110. And so, it fits all the gear drives, barely. I mean, it's tight. He made it so it's snug right up against the bumper. It's tight. It won't fit the hydros because the hydro has the extra sticking out for the hydraulics, and it won't clear that. So I do need one that goes deeper. I'm thinking when I butcher some snow plows to build a snow plow, B-plow for the 400, I'm just going to use the brackets from them and build front hitches. But we'll see how that works out too. The only issue with this is if you're pushing a tractor, so you got it hooked to the back of the tractor and to the front of this one, pushing, you will, if you hit something, go up a hill, go through mud or something, a lot of times it will push the front end up because these aren't super front end heavy. That's the only issue I've had, but I didn't have that issue pushing the 400 over there, surprisingly. So a lot of it is also operator. If you're smart enough to understand the way the bar works, you can usually keep it on the ground. If you're going to go up a hill, try and have some momentum to start and don't make it try and keep the momentum. if it's going to start sliding you around. And if the person in front of you is turning, say, to the left, what you're going to want to do is keep to the left side of centered with the bar. That way it can't push you, because otherwise, if you just try and keep centered, the bar will just push front end of the tractor towards the right. So if you keep it, so if you're going, turning around, pushing it, instead of being straight, it'll push you off to the side. You want to be over here a little bit, so that the only way it can push you is this way, but that's the way you want to go anyway. So it's just a matter of knowing what you're doing. You got to keep the bar straight if you're going straight. You don't want to start getting off to the side too much, because then you need the front end traction to be able to come back. It's just basically knowing what you're doing and having experience is all it is. But unless anybody has anything else they'd like to add, we have been living for over an hour and a half. How many 80 carts do you have? I think their value has went down. I have 2 of them, and I don't believe their value has gone down any. I still get $400 a pop for them in good shape. Unless anybody has anything else, I'm going to get this about over. I didn't plan on being on here much longer than half hour, 45 minutes, and it's been twice that. So if anybody has anything else they'd like to add, go ahead and do that. Put in the comments. You found one for $150, then you'd better buy it if the tailgate's good. Now, the value is not there if the tailgate's rusted out. The big value in the carts is the tailgate, because they do rust out. So if you find a cart without a tailgate, it's a $100 cart. But if you find one with a good tailgate, it's $400 all day long. So it just depends on condition. I think the cheapest I've sold an 80 cart for is $350. And the one that I sold for $350 was kind of rough. So, I mean, they're still a collector item. They're still holding their value fairly well, because they do go with every garden tractor up through the 90s. I mean, you can put it behind a 110 round fender, or you can put it behind a 318 or a 420 or a 430. It's correct. What do you think a Sunset Orange H3 in okay shape is worth? Depends on the year. Each year is worth a different amount of money. The 69, you're looking at $1,000. The 70, you're looking at $1,500. And the 71, you're $2,000 to $3,000. You know, come on. You know the one that just got sold for $140K by a lad. What? Which tractor got sold for $140K? Ain't no garden tractor sells for $140,000. Wonder if it was a 120 patio. The 120s are pretty valuable. There's only 3, I believe, 1971 120s known to exist. Very few 71 patios at all. The 71 patios are very, very hard to find and super rare. Very valuable when you find them. I want to hear more about this $140,000 whatever we're talking about. That YouTuber talked about it. Never heard of the fella. Is that, where was that sold for that? Do you know? I'd buy the first 110 if I had the change. Don't matter how much I would. Yeah. Value on patios all depends on the year. Every year is different. I should actually probably do a patio value video and what to look for, but that is a video for another day because my phone only has 30% left and it is kind of cold out here. It's like 30 degrees, I think. So, if any, well, not sure how they got that price for it. That's nice. Yeah, I don't know how they would get that much for it either. Well, if there's nothing else that we need to go over today, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it on this video. Well, that's nice. Yep, that's what I'm saying. I think I'll go ahead and call it. I appreciate everybody who watched and participated. Like, we got to 100 minutes. Oh, yippee-ki-yay. That means I've been freezing my nose off for 100 minutes over here. Ever bagged a sunset orange from the exhaust? What the fuck kind of pervert are you, motherfucker? Go fuck a duck, perverted motherfucker. Anyway, holy crap, everybody that's here, look at the dude in the comments trying to fuck a patio. He says he does it every day. Now he's fucking a duck. Daggone Amish people up in here, don't steal their goats. They might try to fuck you. So I guess I'm going to call it. I appreciate everybody for watching. And I apologize again for missing our live last night. But like I said, got busy and completely forgot. Apparently, it's, nope, get fucked. So apparently, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and end this. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I hope to catch you on the next one. Keep in mind, if I don't forget, we do a live every other Sunday at 6 p.m. So hope to see you there. In the meantime, hopefully we'll get some videos out before then. So thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Good.